Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Code with Hafiz. My name is Hafizullah Masoudi, and today we are going to work on how to register users in our single page application. As you guys remember, in our last video we secured our Vue router routes. So in this video, first of all, we will create the login form and register form. So let's create them. Let's open our project and text editor, and in here let's go to resources, JS, components, and auth. Let's first create the form for the login. So first of all, let's remove this h file because we don't need it, and let's create a row or a div with a class of row, and let's also give the class of justify dash content dash center. And inside this div, let's create a call dash md dash sex. And inside this call md, let's create a div with the class of card. And we need our card dash header, and let's say login. And after that, we need our card body. So inside this code body, what we need is to create the input fields. So we want to create two input fields, one for email, one for password, and one button to submit the login form. So let's create first of all a div with the class of form group. And now let's say label, for email, let's say email. And let's create an input field with a class of form control, and let's also give it a name of email. And let's copy this form group and paste it where this one should be for password. Let's say this one should be for password, and the type should be password. Class should be form control, and name should be password also. After this, let's create another row, and inside this row, first of all, let's create a core dash md dash 6. And first, well, let's put our button first. So let's create a form dash group, and inside here let's say button, which should say login. And let's give the class of btn dash primary. And after the button, let's create another column d 6, and let's also give it a class of text dash right. And inside here let's create a router link, router dash link, and it should say create new account. And let's say this link should go to /register. Let's save it and let's get back to our browser. But before that, guys, let's also open our command prompt window because we want to compile all the changes that we made. So first, let's navigate to our project folder. So cd /vamp64/www/laravel view. And now let's say yarn run watch. Well, it has been compiled successfully. Now if I refresh the browser, you can see this is our login form. And if I click on this create new account, it is going to the register route. So now let's copy the form to the register component also. So let's get back to text editor, and let's copy everything from here and open register component and paste it here. Now instead of login, let's say register, and for the register let's copy this email form group and paste it here where this one should be for name. Let's say name, and type should be text, but this name should be name. And email is okay, password is also okay, but we need a password confirmation field also. So this one should be for password underscore confirmation. Let's say confirm password. And for the type, let's say password. And for the name, let's also say password underscore confirmation. Well guys, this should be the same for you as I'm writing, because if it is something else, it won't work. So try to write it as it is. Now let's also change the text for the button, and let's say register. And for this router link, let's say already have an account, and this one should be login. And I think it's finished. Now let's get back to our browser and refresh. Yeah, this is the form for register. Well, now let's work on our Vue.js code and try to submit this form. But before everything guys, let's first bind all the inputs to Vue objects. So first of all, let's give this input a v-model, and let's say form data dot name. Let's copy this field and paste it here. This one should be email, and let's paste it here. This one should be password, and paste it here. This one should be password confirmation. And after that, let's give an click event to this button also. So add click, and it should say register user. So now at the bottom, let's first indent this a little bit, and inside here let's return our data. So data return, and let's say form data, because we want to create our objects. And first one is name, which is an empty field. Let's duplicate this one 4 times. The second one is email. The third one is password, and the fourth one is password underscore confirmation. And after that, we also want to include our errors, because we want to validate the form. So let's also create an object by the name of errors, which is an empty collection. So now let's create our methods field. So methods colon curly brackets, and the method that we want to create is this register user. So in here let's paste it, and yeah, our brackets. Well, before working on this register user method guys, let's first create our endpoint, and after that we have to create a controller to manage our Laravel functions. So first let's go to our routes and api.php, and in here let's say route colon post, and we want to create this endpoint by the name of register, and it should go to Auth Controller. Well, we will create this controller in a moment, and inside that controller we want to create a method by the name of register. Now let's create this Auth Controller. So let's open our terminal in this text editor. So in here let's say php artisan make column controller, and let's name it Auth Controller, and press enter. Well, it has been successfully created. Now let's open our controller. So let's go to app http controllers and Auth Controller. What I want to do is, let's say public function register, and we have request coming from the form. Let's open our curly brackets. Now first thing is first, we want to validate the data. So let's say $request arrow validate, and let's say first we want to validate the name. It should equal to required. And let's duplicate this one 4 times. And the second one is email. It should be required also, and it should be the type of email also, and we want it to be unique in users table. The third one is password. For the password, let's say minimum should be 6 characters, and we want to confirm this password also, so let's say confirmed. And the fourth one is password underscore confirmation, and this one should be required. Yeah, that's enough. Let's close our code. Now let's call our user model. So user colon create, and inside here let's say name should equal to $request arrow name, and let's duplicate this one. Well, after name let's say email, and this one should be email, and the third one should be password. And for the password, let's cut it and let's make it hash. So hash colon make, and let's paste our code, and let's terminate it also. Now after saving everything to the database, now we want to return our JSON response. So let's say return response parenthesis arrow JSON parenthesis, and inside this JSON let's create a message. So message should equal to registered successfully, and that's all for the controller. Well, don't forget to include your hash and user at the top of controller. So let's include it. Let's say use app /user model and use hash. Now what we want to do is work on our interface. So we have created this API route. Now we want to call this API route in our register component. So in here what we can do is use our Axios. So Axios.post and our parenthesis, and we want to call the API /register endpoint, and we want to pass the form data also. So for that we can put a comma, and let's say this dot form data, and then we want to say then what we want to do with the response. So response should equal to our curly brackets, and we want to show it in the console. So let's say console.log, and let's say response.data, and after that we want to empty the fields of or the input fields, because after we submit this data we want to empty all these input fields. So how can we do that? We can do that by saying this dot form data dot name. Well, let's copy this, should equal to paste it. This one should be for email. Let's say equal paste it. This one should be for password, and let's say equal paste it. This one should be for password confirmation, and after that everything should be equal to empty string. In here we want to empty the errors also. So let's say this dot errors should equal to curly brackets, and after everything has been successfully done, we want to return our redirect to the login page. So let's say this dot $router and dot push, and we want to push to the login component, and we also want to show a toaster message. And if you remember, we installed it in our previous videos, so we can say this dot $toaster dot success, and let's say for the message account created successfully. Now that's all. Now let's handle our errors. So let's say catch errors, which should equal to curly brackets, and inside here let's call our object first. So this dot errors, and it should equal to errors dot response dot data dot errors, and let's say console dot log dot, or yeah, inside here let's show the errors also. So copy this and paste it here too, and yeah, that's all the code we need. Well, the only thing that is left is to show our errors in our interface also. So to do that, what we can do is, yeah, let's say enter and create a paragraph, and let's give it a class of text dash data, and let's use a Vue component which is v dash text, and we can say errors dot name, and let's copy this one from here and let's paste it in here, and this one should be email. Let's paste it in here also, and this one should be for password, and let's paste it for our password confirmation also. So password confirmation. I think we are done with the code, guys. Now let's get back to the browser and test our code if it works. So let's refresh, and let's also open our inspect elements and go to console. Let me close this. Now let's try to submit our form empty. So if I say register, yeah, you can see it is prompting us and saying the name field is required, the email field is required, the password field is required, and the password confirmation field is required. Well, let's say for the name Hafizullah, and now register, yeah, it is asking for the 3 others. So our validation is working just fine. Now let's try to submit the form. So hafizullah@app.com, password should be password, and confirm should be also password. Let's say register. Well, the password confirmation does not match. I think I misspelled. So let's say password. And now let's say register. Yeah, you can see account created successfully. Now you can log in. And if we go to the phpMyAdmin, so localhost phpMyAdmin, and let's go to Laravel View. Now let's go to this users table. Yeah, you can see our user has been created successfully. So our code is working just fine. Well guys, I think this is enough for this video, and you have learned a lot in this video. You have learned how to register users in single page applications, and you also learned how to handle the errors of the input fields. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends. And thanks for watching, guys. So see you guys in the next video.